We're going to talk about Cole Turner here. Just recently committed to Clemson. He's going to be a wide receiver, 6'2", 178 pounds from Vestavia Hills. Now, I like Vestavia Hills, fellas, because my cousin went to Vestavia Hills. So I've actually been to the Vestavia Hills Stadium. I've actually seen Vestavia Hills play football, but this was a long time ago. I don't even know. I think it was even before Nolan Turner was on the team. This is a long time ago. But anyways, all right. So Cole Turner, Birmingham, Alabama, wide receiver, punt returner, slot receiver, outside receiver. Now, a lot of people are really excited to see his film. And if you have seen it, you're even more excited. So let's start the film up, and I'll kind of preview a few things. He starts out here to the outside, and he gets a jump ball right in the side of the end zone there, in the back of the end zone, right over the cornerback for a touchdown. Now, here he is in a kickoff return where he uses his vision and following his blockers and assignments to get open, to find the lane, and then he makes a big-time move on, looks like maybe the poor kicker, and takes it to the house. What I have written down here is, for a wide receiver, fellas, somebody that's a wide receiver, punt returner, slot outside guy, he needs to be a threat every single time he's on the field. Well, I got to be honest with you guys. Nolan Turner's brother, younger brother of Nolan Turner, I think he's got that. I think he is a threat every single time he's out on the field. You've got to account for Cole Turner. Al, do you agree?
Without a doubt. I love his film. Everybody's going to peg this guy as a slot guy. Maybe it's probably because he's he's not a 6'4" guy, and he's a white kid. That it kind of happens to them a lot. That's how
you had to throw out the white kid part.
You've got to throw that out because everybody, because he's a white kid, wants to compare him to Hunter Renfrow. And they're a little bit different player. Not that he couldn't have a similar impact, but it's just the way we do. It's just what it is. I love that, the ability this kid has. I think he could play any of the receiver positions, maybe except, maybe the 9 position, because he's got great hands. He's got good speed. I love the fact that he high points the ball. You see that over and over and over in this film, is that he goes up over the defender and catches the ball. He fights for the ball. And I was wondering all season, where are our receivers that can do that on this team? We ended up having, I think, starting with the South Carolina game, you had Dakari Collins and Bo Collins make a couple of those types of catches in the last 2 games. And I was wondering why in the world they didn't earlier in the year. I don't know if it's just that we weren't throwing them. They weren't physical enough. They weren't buying in yet. But they came on at the end of the season and looked for a lot more of that. But I love that in Cole Turner's film. I love the way he adjusts to the ball in the air. You see a couple of back shoulder throws there as well. And that's some great stuff on his film. I think he's going to unfairly get a lot of the Renfrow comparison simply because of that, of what we spoke about before. But he's a different player. He has more outside receiver in him than Hunter Renfrow did. Hunter Renfrow's route running ability was absolutely unparalleled, and the way he found the open space in the zone was out of this world, and that's why he was so deadly. Not to mention his hands were unbelievable. This guy could certainly have a similar impact. I like this guy. I think he's a dynamic player, and love to see that he committed to Clemson.
Now, Houston, I know that we have kind of been frustrated this year with not having a slot guy. Now, I don't know if he'll be able to start quickly because we felt like Troy Stellato was going to get some looks, and he ended up, having some medical issues and then not getting any looks. So Cole Turner is going to be down on the list if he's a slot guy. But when I'm looking at this guy, I mean, he could be a threat in the punt return and special teams very early on. Who do they use this year? Will Brown. So if this guy can step in, there might be a gap, an actual spot for him, I would say, in the special teams immediately.
Well, I think special teams wise, you have to look at either him or Antonio Williams. I think the entire wide receiving room as a whole is getting better. I think he'll unfairly, and I mean he as in Cole Turner, will draw some unfair comparisons to Hunter Renfrow, because I feel like early on, that's probably how they're going to utilize him. Short routes. If it's 3rd and 5, go 6 or 7 yards, catch the dadgum ball. That's probably what we're going to see early on, or maybe some easy passes to him to get him in the game. I think when we talk about the slot wide receiver game, I mean, this could be an addition that makes that particular slot on the field an absolute war to get out there, because you're going to have Will Taylor, Troy Stellato, and now and now Cole Turner and potentially Antonio Williams, although you can move him around wherever you want. That kid's an athlete. But those three are going to be battling to get on the field. And I just think it's going to make the wide receiver room all that much better. And I think in the end, Cole Turner, although it may take him a year or two to get into the game, I think he'll end up being somebody that we as Clemson fans get to know relatively on a larger basis in his later years.
Got a lefty quarterback there just slinging it to him, Al. You see this stuff, man? It looks great. A lot of the film that we're seeing is very similar to the type of offense that Clemson runs. It's a spread offense, a very fast-paced, a lot of wide receivers, a lot of designed passes directly to Turner. You can tell, look, let's snap pass a wide receiver right there to him. So he's ready for it. He knows it's coming. But then there's also those ones where it's, like you said, Al, it's one of those go up there and beat the guy next to you, which Clemson really had the play. We assumed that Clemson had the players to do that, but it really didn't show up until you started getting, unfortunately, I wouldn't say unfortunately for the veterans, but right. You really didn't see it show up until you had Bo Collins and Dakari Collins get out there going after it a little bit more. You've got to be aggressive. You've got to be a threat when you're a big-time playmaker. In high school, if you're going to be worthy of a Power 5 elite program, you've got to be in high school a threat in every single position you play, every single time you're out on the field. And really, I see that in this film. Again, I know I'm bragging about him. I'm really pushing him, pumping him up here. I think that, just because his last name's Turner, I mean, his dad played in the NFL. Nolan Turner is a great athlete. And I think that this guy is going to be a good culture fit as well. In today's age that we continue to talk about, where players are not loyal at all, and sometimes coaches are not loyal at all to the program, you get guys like Cole Turner who are going to be loyal to the program, who are going to be giving their effort, who are familiar with the program, and who can be a cheerleader for Clemson and Dabo Swinney and staff and the process as a whole, because he's seen his brother go through the process and end up improving in his skills and being a starter. So if you know anything about his lineage, obviously he's got that DNA to be talented on the field. Clemson could use him quickly. I put down as far as points for me, a threat on the field all the time, great ball location. He knows where the ball is no matter what situation he's in. And then he puts his hands and he puts himself in a great position, has good hands. And then I also have that this might be good. The younger brother always can bring some more competitive juices, because they want to kind of maybe show up their older brother. So, I didn't have any brothers. So you guys, Al, you didn't have any brothers, but I'm just saying you kind of want to show up the older sibling, so maybe there's some of that too. I look forward to seeing Cole Turner. I don't think he's one of those ones where Twitter will beat up Dabo Swinney about, oh, well, you just brought in another, legacy guy, right? I don't think it's that case at all, for sure.